That's a Shame is brought to you by the people who support us over at patreon.com/shamecity.
If you have $1,
$2.
$1 to spare, join us again at patreon.com/shamecity. Please.
Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities.
Hello and welcome to a very special, in that we're doing it, episode of That's a Shame. It's number 141. We're past the second Shameanniversary. We're into the third year of Shame now.
I'm feeling it in my bones.
Are you?
Not in a good way.
Just feeling you've got shameful bones?
I've got the old creaky bones of triple year shame.
Wow, that is a shame. Now, those bones, they belong to you.
Sure.
They are yours. They are within you.
Yep.
But who are you? What do we call this big sack of shameful bones?
Let's not say big. I'm Isaac.
Sorry, small sack of shameful
Perfectly
bones.
formed. In God's image, may I add.
Wow.
In case that was
Me too. That's weird. That's that's
yeah,
odd. Yeah, no, I read the
Everyone
I read the book.
makes mistakes.
Yeah, exactly.
Even him upstairs. Let's remind us, as my grandma says, God's only mistake, it's the knees. And then ginger. Yeah, in that order. I'm Isaac. Thanks for having me back. It means a lot.
That's all right.
I've been doing well these last
As host
episodes.
Prime, I do like to invite
This is a
people back.
bit we're doing.
It's not.
That's not clear.
I am Declan, as ever, as always.
Wow.
As it should be.
How are you feeling about, life? Yeah?
So today's topics.
Here we are back again for another big episode. You've said that it's special, and then you kind of quickly push that to one side. That's not because you've prepared bad content.
Oh, it's not bad content. It's just content.
Right.
It's not special.
It's not good content.
It's not. It's we
It's
can't all
humdrum.
have 3-year-old 94-page chat logs that we
That's
just
fair.
whip out of the bag.
I guess that's fair enough.
And given that you have, I don't want to say subtly, because it was explicitly forbidden me from even touching one single cup beyond this one to store my water, I was somewhat
You were floundering.
Yeah.
You were like a goldfish that you've plucked out of the pond and just catapulted into a desert.
And yet, as we mentioned just last week, we are both people who do some of our finest work under the heaviest pressure.
I think hypotheticals last week episode is testament to that.
Listeners will concur.
Some of the directions that those vignettes took us just into the minds of those characters, I was blown away. I listened not once, but none. I didn't listen at all. No, I didn't. It was good.
It was all right. Yeah, it was good.
So what have you got for us?
So what I've got is,
and why?
Well, I'll start with the why,
okay,
and then circumvent round into the what.
Okay.
Why is that it was inspired by a tweet I saw earlier that both amused
Twitter.com.
and horrified me.
Good balance.
And that is kind of the cornerstone of our content. And I decided to have a little kind of cursory dive, a little skim into a world that we haven't featured very much on the show. But I think that is to our discredit.
Okay.
Because they're a niche community. They have forums. They have a subreddit.
It's the flat earthers.
They've got all of... No, because we have done... Too much. Possibly.
Sorry, I jumped in too early.
Now, if listeners hear me kind of pause or tap or maybe just swear very loudly and profusely and prolongedly, that will be because I have my laptop here and I've had to move it from its position on the table, which is now sacrosanct, because somewhere in it it's broken and it will just flash like a cross between Max Headroom and Poltergeist at me.
It strobes.
If it moves in even the slightest degree, and I won't be able to see any of the content. So there'll either be some very artful editing or
there won't be
just a lot of swearing on my part. But the community that I wish to look at today is that of people who own sex dolls.
What are they known as, the community? Dollars?
No.
Dolly boys? They're called Dolly boys for sure.
Are they Dolly boys?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Dollars is a horrid...
Dollars is very, very horrible.
Considering
Dollars with
it's
an ER.
already a word.
Yeah. It's because, I don't know, there's something sickening about the emphasis. Something about the stress
Well, it makes
on
it
the
so
D.
clear that all they do is do the dolls.
Is do the dolls.
They're
And
dolly doers.
And that is going to be something of a theme about the doing of the dolls, the dollage.
That's interesting because I thought they were just an aesthetic.
No, they're actually largely just a functional item.
Okay.
And that becomes quite staggeringly and I'm going to say horrifically clear through some of their posts.
Pungent.
But I think that it would be unfair of us to assume
Sweaty
that we'll
latex.
start... Not latex.
Are they not?
No.
Interesting.
No.
Flesh.
We'll get to that.
Good.
It is the flesh.
Don't
You're
make
right.
me sick.
I think it would be unfair of us to presume that everyone listening is on a level playing field with with sex dolls.
I don't know anything about them apart from, I'll tell you, all of my knowledge comes from Airplane, the autopilot.
Yep.
Because let's not kid ourselves, he was definitely ready to go, wasn't he?
Well, he was.
And that song by The Police where Stuart Copeland or Andy Summers, I forget which one, I think it's Andy Summers,
isn't it? Yeah.
reads a lovely poem that he's written about a blow-up doll.
A bouncer in the kitchen and a bouncer in the hall.
Yeah, with that exact kind of like he's presenting a children's TV cartoon.
It's very good, isn't it?
Very weird, but
Polly, is it?
the song's called Be My Girl.
Yeah.
I want to say Sally.
Yeah, Sally.
Yeah.
Something like that.
It's good. Have a listen to it, guys. We won't link it in the show notes because honestly, that's already a lot of effort.
Bothered. So what I've done is I've helpfully
You fucked a
perused.
sex doll.
I've got one.
And the sound you're about to hear.
Spent the very last vestiges of anything that I own on a
Trade in the car?
$1,000 sex doll. No, I have perused and condensed for us, leaving out some of the more obvious things, the FAQ sections of various sex doll forums. One of them being from the very well-named Silicon Wives.
Silicon.com, yeah.
Site, and of course,
So it's interesting that it's a wife rather than like a fuck object.
well, yeah, it is very interesting that they say that.
Because you can't, correct me if I'm wrong, marry a doll.
No, not yet, but
Not in the eyes of the Lord.
what they do say, interestingly, is that they're called Silicon Wives because it's like Silicon Valley, which is the height of tech.
I guess it's a
and
bit
then
like that.
some of them are made of silicon.
Right.
But they don't actually mention the wives bit, apart from to
they've
say
just
it's a
snuck it
bit
in
like a wife, but with less nagging.
Oh,
But with less nag.
That's
with
very.
less- with
That's
less
some
nagging.
very
Very
sexist.
good misogyny.
yeah.
So yeah, they have an FAQ site, and so does the Sex Dolls subreddit, of course.
Didn't know there was one.
Well, you do now. I would
glad to learn.
hugely recommend you don't go there.
Yeah.
I have,
Already
so
done.
you don't have to. So let's just have a quick intro to the idea. You know, Silicon Wives, they're ready.
Yeah, this is edutainment. now.
In this article, they say you can find out everything you'll ever need to know about using a sex doll. And that's a big claim. And it is also wrong. If you've just purchased a sex doll, congratulations are in order.
Wow.
You've made a great investment, which is a very bold thing to say, given that one paragraph down, they say you may even have gone into debt to buy your doll.
Naturally. Are they very, very expensive, a sex doll?
$2,500, $3,000 for
Really?
a decent one. Yeah.
Well,
but we
hey.
come on to the price.
Okay.
We'll come on to the price, don't you worry. A sex doll can provide companionship, sexual satisfaction, even add some unique spice to your relationships. I'm assuming that's with your parole officer. A sex doll doesn't care about your job, car,
Imagine if
looks,
they did, though.
or the contents of your wallet, apart from in the sense that you need to
already
buy
bought
one. They're always up for a good time and will never judge you for your fantasies or your hang-ups.
This is a lot of like over-explaining the inanimate nature of
Yeah.
the doll.
Many people don't even know what's a sex doll.
I reckon anyone who doesn't know, if you present them with those
The two words.
simply that union of
Can put them
linguistic
together and be like,
components.
they'll get an idea.
Doll,
I reckon
they're
most
like, what's a
people...
doll? It's like a sort of a toy. It usually looks like a person. Sex. Ah, there it is.
There you are. Now, there's a very lengthy section about unboxing and assembling your sex doll, which I'm going to be honest. If I were buying something like this, I would want it to come fully assembled
Would you?
Yeah, well, I
What's
don't...
the postman going to think? He'll think you're having bodies delivered.
That's fine. He can think that. But what I don't want is to have to actually, like an IKEA furniture, get involved in the actual making
That's
of
half
it.
the fun, though, isn't it?
I feel like
that's what people who love Lego say. It's like, once you've made it,
you just want to fuck it.
Yeah. Once you've made that 1,000-part Millennium Falcon, you're hard
put
for
your
the
leg
Lego.
in it. I mean, there's a whole 10-minute video called "How to Install the Head."
Oh, I don't like install.
Well, exactly. Like, why do you... how could you ever fuck something that you installed?
Install is a weird word as well because it sounds like it's going in the body rather than capping it off.
Well, parts of it will because they'll have to connect
I was hoping
downwards
it would
and in.
just sort of zip together.
You
like
want
corpse
to zip,
bride.
and then you have the nice sexy zip that you can pretend is a sort of choker. Now, after that, there's no fucking about. Well,
you've misunderstood
in fact,
the product.
sorry, there's only fucking about. What I mean is, there's no chit chat. There's no, there's no like, maybe you want to like give your sex doll a name. It's next section is, and this is again an odd phrase. I feel
okay.
Making love to your doll.
Yeah, it's a little bit over romantic for a doll.
For it's just talked about whether you want a built-in or a removable vagina for your doll. And we'll come to that later, don't worry.
No, I was hoping not.
No, but don't worry. Well, you need to.
If you want to skip it, though, that's fine.
No, there's some... No,
I don't need to.
No, but someone might.
No one listens to this cool podcast.
I think you're overestimating or underestimating.
Hope not.
So I don't know about making love, but if you came to read about the main event, they say, here it is. Although there are some exceptions... Most of our customers purchase these dolls for realistic sexual companionship.
What are the exceptions? That's an incredible lead to bury.
Some people just have them as like girlfriends.
No, they don't.
No,
that's not true.
It's really weird, but some of them do.
In
some
what
of them
capacity?
Some of them are.
Why not just buy a doll without a vagina?
Well, because they don't have tits.
I'm sure there's a midpoint.
I mean,
there's a big gap in the market for fuckable dolls and companion dolls that doesn't need to have such a crossover.
They like to know that it's there.
Just in case.
Yeah.
In case you get that
But
far.
some of them are so introverted that even that is like intimidating for them. Yeah. I mean, we're not going to go too much into that because it's
too
very
sad
depressing.
to know about.
So the key is to stick to some best practices, they say, so that you have an amazing experience and your sex doll is there for you for years to come.
Nice.
Now, there are, we're not prudish here. That's a shame.
I am actually. I find all talk of this makes me sick.
Yeah,
already.
but also you're weirdly ready to do so. And
yeah,
you will
I'll dive
at
in,
the drop
but
of
I
a
won't
hat.
enjoy it.
No,
I
that's
need
all
that
right.
clear.
But many of our listeners are not prudish either, and so they'll be wondering, it's not just
how do you fuck the
it's not
sexy
just
doll?
bog standard.
Right.
So we've got a couple of sections here, and we start as ever with vaginal sex with your doll. Okay. This is one of the most common ways, they say, for people to enjoy their silicone dolls.
Enjoy.
I know. Every female sex doll we sell.
Yeah.
Comes with.
Freudian slip there.
He's
clearly fucking a doll of his own.
I'm so excited. Comes with, and now here is a really telling, saying the quiet part out loud phrase, a fully functional vagina.
That's not true.
But it's not true, is it?
Even slightly. If it is, then they have created the most incredible medical technology inside the Silicon Wives factories.
It's just amazing that their own prescription for what fully functional vagina means involves nothing on the part of the vagina itself. No. It's literally a receptacle that squeezes a tiny bit, maybe. It doesn't have to sense pleasure itself. It doesn't have to give birth. None of that. It doesn't have to self-lubricate. No. It simply has to be there. And that is fully functional.
Some negative space.
Yep. For many of our dolls, you have your choice between removable or fixed. And like I say, don't worry, we will come back to that. Now, they're all realistic feeling.
Okay.
So again, don't worry about that.
That's a load off.
Now, here we go. This is where they get to the nitty gritty.
It's an unpleasant word in this context for sure.
The process, they say, which is a shame already, works just like you would imagine. You position the doll the way you like. Then you penetrate the doll and continue as you normally would.
Oh, right. Well, thanks for the instructions, lads. Very detailed.
The friction and pressure combined feels absolutely amazing.
Can you adjust it like, when you're doing like an exercise bike and you can change is it like the torque on it?
Yeah,
or something?
and
you can like clamp.
Like you're going uphill.
Oh dear.
Now, again, they like to cut to the chase.
They're refreshingly frank.
Yeah, and they don't want people to feel embarrassed. So they do say, we are often asked if it's okay for men to finish inside their dolls. And the answer is yes.
Imagine calling them up to ask 900,000 times that the people have called out of 900,001. They've already done it and are asking after the fact. Like, hey, if I was gonna, say I just shot a steaming pile of hell right up my
Straight
Silicon
into my
Valley.
$3,000 wife.
That's fine, right? Like, it's all cool.
That's good.
Yes, it's fixed. Yes,
Brilliant.
I'll hold.
Now, next, of course, on the list is anal sex with your doll.
Oh, naturally.
So, well, that's what they say. So many people fantasize about anal sex. It is normal,
Brackets with dolls.
healthy, and very pleasurable for many people. The bad news is, they say, that it can be difficult to find a willing partner, let alone one to actually enjoy being on the receiving end of all this.
Why are they like lecturing here? They've taken.
It was definitely someone on Upwork had to write this. 100%.
It does have that kind of vibe, because it doesn't sound like they're on message.
No,
because the company that's just selling sex dolls doesn't need to give you any of the context about different sexual practices around the world.
No,
so
and
only someone who's trying to fill their word count would be like.
Another thing for us to maybe look at a different time is that, because this would definitely have been some Upwork stuff, is that each of the
we could have written this.
Each of the dolls has its own backstory.
No.
Yeah, they like have a proper history to them
that
are all so transparently like teasing. Like one that we'll come to later.
Nice.
She was a lingerie model.
Oh, right, but now she's a doll. Weird. Crazy how that happened.
A witch,
reverse Toy Story
came along. No, but she doesn't like to wear underwear in real life because she prefers to feel free.
Oh, that's just for work.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like if you take your work home with you, it spoils it. Keep it as a hobby.
No matter how simple it is. The great news, but both our male and female dolls are fully functional in this way. Our product engineers have worked hard to design.
Don't call them engineers.
Have worked hard to design the dolls.
Why?
So that you get a realistic, super tight, intense experience that is guaranteed to blow your mind.
Right.
An engineer did that.
They were sat there in the lab for hours on end,
going
prototyping.
How on earth do we mimic the anus out of silicon?
I think they're really overestimating the challenge of this, because it's got to be, bar none, the least discerning audience.
Well, yeah,
because anything will do.
But but the thing is that they are extraordinarily picky as well. It's like the incel community. In fact, there's very big
the
crossover
incel community.
in that they should be the people who are grateful for whatever they could get, but actually they're the people who are most particular about it.
Even in the doll sphere.
Oh yeah, even in the doll sphere, they have arguments about what's the best cup size for a sex doll. What's the best position for it? Exactly.
Time. It's been
That's
raging.
like the Israel-Palestine.
Yeah, scholars have been debating for eons.
Sex dolls and oral sex.
Okay.
We've already explored the topic. Is a blowjob from a sex doll the same as getting a blowjob from a person? The answer is no. They are not the same.
What an amazing... Why did they bother with all that setup just to disappoint?
But
the answer is...
But
it's made of silicone.
It's so that they can have the sentence, which is the most generous sentence to sex dolls that you could ever hope to write. There are pros and cons for both.
Please enlighten me as to the pros of being blown by...
Well, don't worry, they will. Still, a sex doll blowjob is pretty damn fun. Think of it like this.
Okay, picturing the scene.
When the manufacturer...
Oh, I love hearing all that. That really gets you in the mood.
Creates a sex doll. Not builds.
Creates.
Not make, creates. Like
build
from
it
his
from
own
clay
hand.
and breathe... Not life. The horniness into its nostrils.
When the manufacturer creates a sex doll, the mouth only has to do two things.
Two things?
It has to look nice.
Oh, okay.
And it has to provide pleasure. You'll need lube, of course, but you'll never have to worry about your doll's gag reflex, whether she gets a stiff neck or how she'll react when you finish.
Oh, dear.
So those are some pros, sorry.
Wow.
Did you consider those?
I guess I didn't.
No, well, there you go.
It's on me that.
Yeah,
I lacked
exactly.
imagination that the manufacturer clearly has in bucket loads.
Lubricants and your sex doll.
Okay.
Now, I don't want to talk too much about this.
Good.
Because it is all very horrid.
Mm-hmm.
But what I will say is that there are 3 small paragraphs in this section. And the last one starts with the clause, there are some people who prefer to take a drier approach. And that's where I'm going to leave it.
Oh dear.
We've got plenty of lube talk to come.
No need though, if you want to.
No, don't worry, because
if we're running tight for time,
it's very important.
Okay.
Now, the rest of what they say is largely negligible, apart from a small bit at the end that I found very important, which is about travelling with your sex doll.
God, I'd never thought of that.
No, exactly.
It's one of those like secondary concerns that you tend to relegate because you're so excited with your purchase.
Yeah.
It's like if you buy an instrument. And
you think you're never going to leave bed with it.
And then you see people having to like carry a double bass on the tube and you're like, should have thought about that in advance.
Some of our customers enjoy their dolls so much that they take them everywhere they go.
Wow.
Now, they mention that they're fairly portable, although extraordinarily cumbersome.
Okay. It's like carrying a body around, I would think.
Yes, and that's why their final tip is that...
inform the police before entering a new town.
Is that many of our customers choose to ship their doll ahead of time.
Oh.
Just like you would with a wife.
Very expensive.
But what I like is that they've clearly had a lot of negative feedback about travelling with the dolls.
Uh-huh.
And so they've had to put it on the old FAQs page because of what we're about to discover. This way, it is there for them when they arrive. Just be aware that you will likely have to handle your doll on your own. Neither the delivery person nor travel staff will be willing to assist.
Wow.
I love that that's
Shocking.
said declaratively. Not, they might not. They
100% won't
we've
touch your cum-stained latex.
We've spoken to a few, and believe us, they're not on board.
They're not down for it.
Now, on Reddit, they had, obviously, that from Silicon Wives is very much the company talking.
Yeah, that's the company line. And I guess it's not, whilst they might be true to some elements of the user experience, we really need to get in with the consumer base. So
the consumer base themselves, before we get on to user experience, which is indeed part 2 of the show, they have put together their own FAQs, and I just thought I'd just mention a couple that they have that they've mentioned.
That's so nice, isn't it?
Is
people
good.
taking time out of their day, pulling out of any doll hole that might be going, just to pass on that wisdom that only comes through experience.
So one question that you may be wondering is
I'm not. But...
is how do you store a sex doll?
Yeah, no, I don't care.
Now, just in case you discover that you do care partway through the answer, I'm going to give it anyway.
Okay.
It should be stored on its back.
Okay, yeah.
Which I find troubling.
So that it can stare lifelessly up at you.
Yeah, but
from the cupboard under the stairs.
But here's an interesting thing about putting it in the cupboard, is that many people like to keep it, quote, hanging in a closet if it comes with a hook for the neck thread.
Oh, the neck thread. Oh, that old classic.
Now, imagine if you were having sex with a person and on the back of their neck you saw a fucking little hook like you get on the inside of a coat.
I'll be honest, I was picturing more just a loop that you then affix to like a Leatherface-esque meat hook.
Yeah, well, similar.
And it was much hotter.
Oh, okay. I'll go for that in future then.
Imagine going to someone's house and being like, oh, which one's the bathroom, mate? And, second on your left. And you open the third by accident and there's just a lifeless, hanging, dripping, Savlon-covered Germaline pin cushion.
Now, they do get damaged, of course,
well,
and they
surprised.
don't last forever.
Yeah.
And so one of the questions on the FAQ, which is, I think, quite telling and troubling, is how can you dispose of dolls discreetly?
Well, you can't. There's no possible way.
Well,
you'd have to burn it.
Well, don't worry, because the first line of the response is, again, so troubling. It speaks so much about the people who own these things. You should be able to cut it into smaller pieces if you have a wrench or other tools to disassemble the skeleton
Sometimes
underneath.
Mid-fuck. Just go for it.
It really might prove to be a big turn on.
Oh, dear. They've got a skeleton in a sex doll. How heavy are they?
Yeah, very.
Are they person heavy?
Apparently they're very, very heavy.
That's
really
really
it's got a metal skeleton so that it can stand, so that you can position it.
No,
yeah,
they're posable.
Yeah, they're all posable.
Very cool. You could play all kinds of cool pranks with one of these.
Think how terrified we were of the Stephen Sondheim cardboard cutout.
And you can't fuck that at all.
Well, not more than once. Yeah, that troubled me. But, and again, another thing we'll come on to later but it might just be easier to put it out for sale or giveaway on dollforum.com.
For sale? People that buy second-hand sex dolls?
Where?
No.
Yeah.
I don't want to know anything about
one of the things that one of the more worrying things that I found in the comments as a reply to this was someone, because there's a big section at the top about if you see a sex doll for under $1,000, do not buy it. It's probably a counterfeit. It's probably fake.
A counterfeit? Yeah. What does that mean? It's not
as in it's like
tender.
it's like a shit knockoff version, like under the
it's
Aldi
just four
version.
Balloons tied together.
Yeah. But some bloke mentions, and this is the saddest, maybe one of the saddest things I've ever read. They said, "Think you've been a bit too cautious about where to buy. Got mine for $400 on eBay, and it's been just fine."
Oh dear, that has a storied history. That eBay.
eBay.
It's good, isn't it? Good.
There's lots of stuff about cleaning them and whatnot.
That's kind of what I'm most concerned about the whole thing, because it's not a process that you.
No.
Well, the problem is it's always going to be a bad time, isn't it?
Yeah,
to clean
it's
this
never.
doll.
You don't want to do it immediately after,
because you want to bask in that latex love.
You want to lay there. You want to bond.
Yeah, you want to chat up. You want to maybe smoke a cigarette together.
Yep.
It might fall right down its mouth.
It might melt the lips into such a horrific shape. But one man has a much, I think, purer concern with regards to cleaning, because you were thinking quite horrific things, I think.
Well, I was thinking very pragmatically.
This person here has such an incredibly dull, mundane problem, but I think he's phrased it really nice. Any advice for cleaning dust particles from the skin? I recently bought a small art figure that has TPE skin. That's one of the materials they're made of.
Art figure?
Yeah. And it's picking up lint and such like a fucking magnet.
Like magnets do.
No one predicted that their sex doll would pick up a bunch of lint.
Is art figure a euphemism for?
I have tried to avoid finding out.
Okay.
One Reddit user posted a kind of 10 things I wish I'd known when buying my sex doll.
I love that about this forum, that all of the tropes and FAQ, things I wish I'd known in advance.
Yeah, pinned to the front
all of
page,
these
obviously.
Concerns are archetypes you can translate to any topic.
Literally anywhere.
So regardless of the content, they're still that boring.
And they all have their own rules still as well. Rule number 1. What do you think rule number 1 is?
On the subreddit?
Yeah, it's such it's such an instant like shutting down of a particular wing.
No
of the
photos of you fucking your doll?
No, that's a good
Only
guess.
photos of you fucking your doll, please.
No, it's to shut off a wing of the community that they don't want anything to do with.
No, I don't know.
Rule number 1 is no dolls that represent minors.
Oh, good.
With an O, not an E. You can pose them with a pic.
Arthur Scargill, blow up doll. That is a niche. Yeah,
I actually bought an inflatable, like glow in the dark sex
Arthur
doll.
Scargill?
No, sex doll.
Okay,
from
why?
a German sex shop as a present for our teacher
Oh.
on the German exchange.
That's
me and my
a
mate
classic.
went, and it actually ties into the disposing of them discreetly FAQ, because like he came to the back of the coach and we gave him like two kind of nice presents and then a copy of the Kama Sutra in German and this inflatable doll that he then had to like shove under his blazer and scurry up the aisle past all the year 9s and 8s like, so they don't see it. But then when we were back at school the next week, he asked to speak to me after a lesson, and he was like, it was quite funny. He was like, honestly, wasn't very much expecting it, but you know, whatever. And I just asked him out of curiosity. I was like, "So what?
Fucked your doll?
What have you done with it? You know, where are you?
Why would you ask
Where
that?
are you keeping it?" And he said, "It's found a very nice home in my neighbour's bin."
That's great.
So this is what I thought you might like to know about the cleaning process.
Okay, well you thought
Number
wrong,
4.
but do continue.
It was, I recommend getting a doll with a vaginal insert rather than the fixed vagina. Makes it easier for cleaning. But
is it like Hoover bags?
getting the insert in and out can be kind of tricky because it's tight and with high friction. The best way to get it in is to lube it with baby oil, brackets, mineral oil, and then pushing it in with a blunt stick-shaped object.
Wink, wink.
Don't use normal lube like water-based.
Okay.
And then one of the worst sentences or clauses I've ever come across, because this can lead to mold growth in the cavity.
Oh goodness! If I had a nickel for every mold growth in the cavity.
Of course, you can use water-based lube for the actual intercourse, they say. So they don't want you to panic.
No, that's good, because that would be a real concern.
Then we have quite a sad sentence here for number 10. Like the others are quite bog standard. I don't want to bore you with stuff about buying a full-body crotchless stocking for it.
Nah.
No, or, how tall you want it to be. What he says here at the end I think is quite telling and quite sad.
What's the tallest you can have? 20 feet. Can you imagine?
How do you store?
That'd be funny.
It's got like hooks all the way along because you have to hang it horizontally.
Could get one of Madame, what's her name, from Beaubaton.
Madame Maxine.
That'd be such a niche.
Using audio can enhance the experience, they say.
How's that?
What I often
chuck a little Bluetooth speaker down its gullet. Listen away. If it's that, don't look at me like that. If it's
what I often do is put on some amateur porn on my phone, then put the phone.
Why specifically amateur?
Then put the phone behind the head of the doll so that it can't be seen, but makes the audio come from generally the right direction.
You know that it's just behind its head.
I've tried looking for Bluetooth speakers small enough to put into the mouth of the doll, but haven't found any yet.
That's such a shame because I know so many different ones I could send him, but I don't want
put
to
you in touch with Grixum 3.
Oh dear me.
Yeah, that is a shame.
But I don't understand that at all. And we're not here to, as they say, and this is one of your favourite phrases,
king shaming.
Yuck anybody's yums. I'll say again, not here to yuck the yums of others. But it's odd, isn't it? Putting a little speaker behind a doll.
What I like as well
because he knows it's there.
He knows it's there, and also like he says, so the audio is coming from generally the right direction. But presumably in this amateur porn, there are two people. So his doll is speaking as his that, and as the person fucking it.
His doll is legion.
So I've also got now 2 kind of deep dives into user experiences from 2 very different people.
Case studies.
One
Yep.
from one of our favourite subreddits, Men Going Their Own Way.
Oh, goodness, yes. That's been an inspiration to all of us, I think. And by us, I mean all of us listeners as well.
Yeah, you're not escaping this.
For those who don't know, though, Men Going Their Own Way, why don't you just keep us up to date?
Well, what they say about themselves is this subreddit is for men going their own way, forging their own identities and paths to self-defined success.
That's really interesting.
Which is a very sad phrase.
Because that sounds quite nice, but what, I guess if you dive even a tiny millimetre below the surface...
They hate women.
They are a red pill
They
bunch of women
really
haters.
fucking hate them. Cannot stand them.
Love dolls, hate girls.
Well, they don't necessarily love dolls. And this is part of the problem, you see. But then I've also got, and this is the tweet that started the whole journey that
Tweet's
we've been
got a
on
lot to
together.
answer for, I'll be reporting it.
Comes from a sex positive blog that a couple do with cartoons.
Oh, good.
Called www.ohjoysextoy.com.
Oh, joy.
/ our-first-sex-doll.
Okay.
So we're going to go through those two and see how they found it, how they
compare.
approached it. Yeah. So let's start with Men Going Their Own Way.
Why not?
For those thinking about a sex doll, not about getting one, just thinking about a sex doll. This is from a year ago. Only 21 upvotes.
That's a
poor
shame,
guy.
isn't it?
And this is from
some
a random user 987. I won't be doing that. He's definitely a misogynist. So he says, it's been 3 months since I bought a sex doll off of Amazon.
Okay.
And I figured it was about time to maybe share the experience.
No need.
It started when I was innocently browsing innocent stuff on Amazon. Something that I don't believe.
It's not a question of protesting too much
No.
at all.
And across the bottom of the screen, a sex doll.
Oh, I hate it when that happens on Amazon.
Like in Pokemon, a sex doll appeared.
Really, really weird when they recommend those.
This one was 5 feet,
Okay.
which troubles me already. An amazing arse.
To be honest, I just pictured like 5 different feet.
It was
that's
5
all it
feet,
is.
no face, no vagina. It was
They're
5.
just stuck together.
An amazing
with
arse
stickle bricks.
and enormous boobs that are just amazing. Now,
Just amazing.
Now, here's the thing about like boobs and the word amazing is that I feel like it's cheating if they were specifically manufactured in that shape.
No.
The amazing thing is
as
surely
little mind. That's actually the pinnacle
that
of
it came out of a
achievement.
fucking plaster cast.
It's a mould.
But there you go. For real, there was one picture that did it for me, and $1,000 later, she got here on Monday.
$1,000.
I remember it
It's
was.
a serious decision, isn't it?
Yeah, I remember it was 4 p.m. in the afternoon. He says.
God, yeah.
Monday night. I've been fighting with putting clothes on her.
What do you mean? Like literally?
I think so. Yeah.
Just the battle of trying to
affix
clothe
a skirt,
a dead doll.
an inanimate object.
Wow.
Perfecting her hair, trying to look past the icy coldness of her silicon skin. You know,
What sort of
the
hair do you
average
suppose they
concern.
have?
Well, here's the thing: many of them are just bald.
Right.
The like Tim Minchin line about couldn't afford you with hair is a genuine thing. Like some of them,
Because probably you can buy like human hair wigs.
yeah, and you
for
buy wigs for them.
Can you buy it with hair implanted in its skull?
Yes, you can, but they're much more expensive.
Goodness.
Yeah, don't. I say skull.
There's some really upsetting images
Just
relating
don't say
to
the
all
word
like
skull.
doll hair.
Trying to look past the icy coldness of her silicon skin. It's not easy.
been there.
And truthfully, she smells a little.
Of what?
So well, he doesn't say.
No, good.
So full disclosure, because I don't want to leave anything out. The first time I tried to do anything with her, I couldn't. Well, you know.
Oh no.
I know.
Just couldn't get around
Imagine disappointing an inanimate silicon sack
Yeah, that would be
of
a
metal
shame.
bones. No matter how I tried, that first night I got nothing. But she was so hot and awfully fun
It's interesting they
to
say.
play with.
Well, that's horrid. But it's interesting that they refer to them as she, like
Yeah.
definitively.
That she's attractive.
Yeah, it's like the battle going on within the head of a sex doll user of this proclivity.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are some people who are like just treat it as a functional thing,
Yeah.
like an aid. But for someone who seems to be trying to project a humanity onto it, like there is no object that at once allows you to attempt that projection, but stares back at you so lifelessly as to deny it and refute it absolutely and entirely at one and the same time. That must be a real inner conflict.
Yeah, that's a big problem.
I'm thinking like each thrust, you're going to be, you know, that optical illusion of a ballerina spinning, and you can like trick your brain into seeing it spin different ways. And sometimes you can get it so if you blink, it's spinning clockwise, and you blink again, it's going. Thrust A, it's amazing. It's like a real person pulling out. Sandra, this is. Oh God! Oh no!
What am I doing?
And we're back. Like it must just be a yo-yo.
Yeah. Each time it's another decision as to do we go for another. That is something that that the other guy comes on to that he talks about. But yeah, so he didn't get anything. So awfully fun to play with.
Well, of course.
I don't want to know what he was doing. So next I said, let me try sleeping with her and see how that goes.
Oh, literally sleeping with her.
Tuesday morning, it's like waking up next to a hunk of metal. And I can only assume that that's because it is. And now, he says, one eye is looking one way, the other another.
Oh dear.
So it's a crazy hunk of metal. But I'm game, I fix it and try again. It's getting better, but by no means is this fun. Imagine it being an absolute chore to fuck your sex doll that you paid $1,000 for.
Crazy. This guy must be loaded, though.
My day begins, and while she's on my bed, I'm starting to wonder if this was a great idea, but that ass. Thursday.
I just do not believe that someone's mind can be changed.
How could you be impressed by like
a doll's ass?
It's such a shame that we have to worry about that.
Yeah, it is.
Thursday, I get home and I'm feeling like I need to try a lot harder to make this work.
It's like more psychological effort than
a relationship.
Yeah.
Do I need an emotional connection? Do I need to watch porn first? Somehow the internet seems to have no answers.
Wow, weird.
So I get some porn going. It's late, I'm sleepy, and I'm thinking this could be fun. So now, for the first time, the magic happens.
Okay.
I enjoy the feeling, and then wonder how the fuck to clean this thing.
Should have read the FAQ.
I spend 2 hours scrubbing, never really believing it's clean. And it's not until the next morning that I start to feel a little disgusted with myself.
Aww.
Like, I've given up. I toy with the idea of naming this thing.
Oh, that'll solve it.
And I realise, God, her boobs are too big. They're comical.
For what? Okay.
The two feelings push me over the edge, and I pick up the doll. Ugh, she's heavy. And I throw her into the closet, and then a blanket on top of her for good measure, where she sits for 2 weeks.
Wow.
Week 2, the feeling of complete loser continues, but I read about some of these people that talk to their doll. Well,
Where did you read?
Well, I'm lonely, so I try that and I feel like an idiot. I have a wickedly vivid imagination for everything, but where the doll is concerned, sex with this thing is not fun at all.
Oh no!
Which is the most damning sentence that you could ever hope to
Even
read.
after chatting it up for hours.
Chatting out, sleeping with it, putting its eyes back the right way.
Leaving in the closet for 2 weeks.
Under a blanket, for good measure. Month 2. So this thing sits in the closet most of the time. Its legs are starting to bend in unnatural ways, and her cross eyes won't really go away. But I've started to read about nofap and wondering if having sex with a sex doll is just a form of masturbation.
What?
Surely so.
Yeah.
The closet door stays closed. Well, it's not sex.
What does he mean? Starting to wonder something that's so definitively the case.
It's a masturbatory aid.
Yeah, what does he think?
Month 3. I was at CVS and I found this gel that does stuff.
What?
He never explains.
Oh no! It brings
that a
dolls
shame?
to life.
Yeah.
Curses them
Only
with a
on the bit where you rub it. I said it's worth a shot, and I did it with a doll. Duh, of course it helped a boatload. The first time was awesome. 2 times more in the next half hour, and I said, damn, I'm never gonna stop.
Wow.
And then I said, damn, I'm never gonna stop. And that's where I am now. But also there's some wires sticking out of her hands, and her skin is discoloured in some spots.
Goodness.
But she's still crazy hot.
Yeah, no. Sounds it, pal.
If your beautiful girlfriend started to have weird
wires
skin
in the old
discoloration
hands.
and wires coming out the hands. Are you still attracted? Are you still crazy hot?
I guess the difference is that people have other qualities, but dolls judged solely on their fuck rating.
Fuckability.
I'm worried about that guy in a big way.
Well, we're coming to his final paragraph, which starts with, I'm going to say one of my favourite sentences I've ever read on the internet, for its patent falseness.
Okay.
Right? It's one of the wrongest things anyone could ever believe or think, and yet here he is typing it out. I think the expression, the grass is always greener, comes from someone who had a sex doll.
What a claim. I'm going to edit that into the Wikipedia article for that particular idiot. Imagine citing that source.
I think that the phrase "the grass is always greener" possibly predates sex dolls.
It's hard to say, though. I mean, the jury's out, I guess.
Right, yeah. I suppose
you can't. Can you disprove that?
I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't have the evidence.
No, so
he's making a real bitch out of me. I think they had unlimited sex. They could. They realised the unlimited sex they could have with it, and realised it's not perfect. If you just want to get your nut off X times a day and don't care about anything else, get it and lube, and life will be good. But don't be surprised if you start to feel like something's a little amiss.
Wow.
It's hard having so much sex with someone you haven't named.
Oh my god, that's the saddest thing I've ever heard. Oh, that's heartbreaking.
The top comment is just, well, for Pete's sake, what was the name of the gel?
Really diving into a particular avenue there. That commenter.
So
that sounds like such a traumatic experience for this person who is so clearly trying to fill a void in more senses than one, and failing to do so again in every sense.
Well, and something that we haven't touched on in this episode, but I think that you will be sad that you missed yourself, coming from Cold Story Bro in the replies, is you're paying the early adopters fee. They will get better with AI, but in fact they'll be better than the real thing.
Wow, will they?
Yeah.
I hadn't heard about that.
Yeah, because it'll be intuitive, won't it? It'll, like my amiibo that learns to beat me up on Smash and is now better at the game than I am, having played for a total of 15
want that, but
minutes.
For sex.
It's going to do that. It's going to kick the shit out of me.
The sex doll's going to fuck you.
$3,500 on a fucking robot to come around and beat me up.
Wow.
So that's
what a
his
powerful
experience.
image of the future.
Yeah.
The Science Museum, too afraid
just for you
carry out that. Oh dear, what's
anyway,
that?
That's the cartoon.
Okay,
of the sex doll from the next chap. Now I want to start here with they got given this doll.
That's very suspicious.
And it's going to be an important factor later.
Sounds like the setup to a B-movie horror film.
Yeah, basically, they run this blog, so they're in touch with people in the industry, and there was a porn shoot that then fell through. They had a bunch of sex dolls left over that hadn't been used, so they said, "Do you want one for free? We're giving them away." So they went. The guy wasn't interested, but his wife said, "Definitely get it. You don't turn down a free sex doll." She said, "You don't look a sex doll, free sex doll in the mouth or in any orifice."
Ancient adage.
So they've got a little cartoon of the sex doll.
It's horrid.
It is horrid. It is bald, wide-eyed, and statuesque.
Yeah, I suppose so.
And now it's here. Its name is Alabama.
Interesting.
It would cost $2,000.
Mental.
Alabama is the one who was a lingerie model, but doesn't like to wear.
Well, I can see that.
Yeah,
she doesn't like to wear anything. Because she's
very starkly naked.
Yeah.
Now, around Alabama, just to give you an idea of some of the kit that comes, it's not just the doll itself.
Wow, I didn't realise there's there's extras.
You might want to purchase as well to make the experience as good as possible. This one, again, even more worryingly, I find than the last one, 4'11".
Okay.
I think we're bordering on getting quite.
How tall are people in the world? Average height for a woman is 5'2" or 5'3". I think it's quite small.
Yeah, but
so
this
4'11"
is 4 inches smaller than that. It's quite petite. I'm worried.
I wonder if there's a element of it just being like a portability thing, though.
Yeah, it could be, because it's got very big tits, according to this cartoon.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Is that one of the key words?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, so it is.
So
good.
you see, Now, yeah, indeed, bra size 28D.
Wow, okay.
So, that's good.
Brass eyes, did it say?
Bra
I
size.
thought you said
Bra size. It's got bra size.
That would be
That would be the most
just
awful
staring up
thing.
at you like an ancient god statue.
Yeah, like raw. So here's some of the kit that you might need. And also some features of the doll itself.
Yeah.
Steel armature. Brackets.
Wow.
Posable.
Oh, I thought that was like a battle thing.
No. Customizable features such as...
Yeah. Go on. Out with it. Yeah.
Toenails.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
It's frightening enough to think that they have toenails. Let's even leave aside the idea of customizable.
No, I don't want to think about that.
Cotton gloves.
Why?
That doesn't say.
Is that for if you're taking it to Ascot?
For Ladies' Day. TPE, scare quotes, skin material.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
TPE skin.
And then the last one that I think just needs a quick mention, just in case, is orifice heater.
USB, Google Home compatible orifice heating device.
That looks like a kind of chapstick.
Uh-huh. Well, it would.
But
very warm.
But it's hot in every way.
Oh, dearie me.
So according to her bio, Sweet Alabama, you get,
nice,
is from a small southern town and has always dreamed of travelling to different parts of America to be fucked by lonely loose. Apparently she does underwear modelling, but doesn't like to wear undies in real life because, quote, she likes the attention.
Wow, okay.
So he and his wife unpacked her, and then his wife went, see ya.
Oh.
You fuck it. Let me know how it goes. So this is his experience. My time with Alabama has pushed me past my normal sexual comfort levels.
Okay.
Which is a weird thing for and I can't believe I'm going to read this, for a professional masturbator to say. I'm used to masturbation toys that aren't meant to be anything more than what they are, which is a kind of weirdly philosophical statement. This is a humanoid figure. She's a kind of person.
No.
A companion,
true.
He says. I see a lot of value in sex dolls for someone who struggles with human connection and intimacy.
Okay.
You know, we're a social species, he says. We crave company. But being around real flesh and blood people with all their complexity and idiosyncrasies can be an insurmountable challenge for some.
Unlike the plain sailing of
owning something with a removable vagina and a hook from the neck.
Yeah.
So, at the same time, she's not human enough. Up close, you can see her face, her exaggerated anatomy, her greasy, cold TPE skin. And when you try to move her stiffly inflexible skeleton, she just doesn't pass the mustard. Then there's a small graph, and with it, the caption, for us, Alabama falls deeply into the uncanny valley.
Wow. Right down there.
Now, here's one of the most... this is, again, just for you. One of the most troubling cartoons you'll ever see, but has one of the funniest additions, which you'll hear about from the text.
Okay.
When it came to sexy times, I really had to lean away from the realities of the situation. I needed to turn off the lights, set up my tablet with some trusty go-to porn, and cover up her head with a hat to make the magic happen. Please look at this.
Oh dear.
In the diagram, it's a proper sun hat. It's huge.
Like that you'd wear at
Ladies' Day, yeah. Don't get me wrong. It was fun having this fleshy form underneath me. The tactile aspect was satisfying if one-sided, as Alabama doesn't move or respond an inch.
Imagine if she could move 1 inch. I'd respond once during the action. She's like, no!
You don't think Alabama would consent?
I think if these dolls all came to life, they would be the original Robot Uprising.
Yeah.
No one wants justice more than a doll that exists.
Anyone
to be
who'd
found.
ever even thought about buying one would be
They'd be
cancelled
bludgeoned
and shot
into death
so
by a
instantly.
big Alabama metal skull head.
But I still had to go elsewhere in my head while doing the deed. I wasn't really there having sex with Alabama, and that kind of sort of defeats the point of a sex doll for me. Then this kind of gets into what you were saying earlier.
Oh, yeah?
With a masturbation sleeve, just like you were saying.
Sleeve! Right! Portable.
Everywhere you go.
Goodness.
The whole goal is to fantasize and escape until you reach your orgasm.
Uh-huh.
With a sex doll, you're not just jerking off, you're having sex with an object that replicates a human. A sex doll, and this troubles me, wants you to be present with it.
Why is everyone ascribing so much agency to these dolls?
But the realities of that made it uncomfortable for me to do so. Well, I'll tell you why they're doing that. Because otherwise, you are fucking without consent a fucking plastic tube.
Yeah, but it's fine. The plastic tube doesn't need to consent.
I know, but
so why play with this weird...
Because they
why are they trying to get them to vote?
Because I think they feel it's so wrong that there has to be an idea of their sentience and enjoyment in it for them.
It's really complicated.
Because otherwise, you just wank.
You'd save
like everyone else.
thousands of dollars.
Thousands of dollars. Hours of your time cleaning.
Cubic meters of cupboard space. And honestly, so much mental
pride.
anguish.
You don't have to worry about shipping it anywhere ahead of time.
It's just a weird, it's weird to create a product that is deemed solely to exist for pleasure, but that for every single user that we've encountered seems to itself, separate to anything else around it, present such a problematic question of the object's existence. Like the fact that these masturbators on men who go their own way, not a deeply philosophical bunch, typically.
No.
The fact that even they are having to contend with this, what makes an object alive? To what extent does the purpose that I ascribe to something else reflect its own sense of being? It says to me that the product itself is just too weird to.
Well,
to
don't
exist.
worry, because when AI comes along and they can move by themselves,
We've
all
all
that
seen
hard
Her.
work is
That
done
worked out
for you.
great.
Yeah. Here's a picture of them. I always enjoy this when people draw cartoons of themselves. There's the cartoon of themselves.
Oh yeah.
Right. But then this is actually them.
Goodness.
They've done themselves some favours.
Yeah, generous cartoon.
Yeah.
Can I see the doll?
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, very creepy.
One of Silicon Wives'
Very
classics.
weird, skin tone. It looks
Skin
less
tone.
realistic than some
Feature
toys
size.
I've seen.
Yeah,
that weren't even human.
weren't even supposed to be used for sex, although possibly what.
Oh dear.
Now, this is after the actual cartoon bit. This is just a little note from them, and there's some troubling stuff.
Okay.
Ahead to end
You
with.
surprise me.
I know, yeah. A huge thanks to the team at Silicon Wives for thinking of us and sending us one of their ladies.
Don't like that. Moving
Don't like
on.
that at all. I think a large part of the appeal of Alabama and high-end sex dolls in general is all about the website and presentation of the dolls. So before I go chitty-chatting, I really encourage you to check out the Silicon Wives website.
Link nowhere near the show notes.
They take incredible photos and tell backstories about the ladies they sell. I wish that you would
stop that there are backstories or
to the ladies. Seeing these almost lifelike, no, and expertly done photos, breathes life into them.
Doesn't.
Beyond the frozen figure you get in the mail.
Which breathes no life into anything.
Sucks all that life back out again. Edit, though. Before you go clicking the link to the Silicon Wives, heads up, some of the copy on their site is not very respectful towards women. So click if you're interested, but be ready for text and marketing that is different to the sort of crowd we normally cater to here.
Wow.
There's a video that I shan't watch of them dressing the doll.
Even think about clicking it.
Then here we go. Here's our finale. Some tips I did pick up on. A sex doll is cold.
For life. Not just for Christmas.
You need to buy a heated blanket to put over her before getting intimate. Also, if you get a model with an inbuilt vulva like Alabama, you use internal condoms to save having to wash her out afterwards.
Oh, wash her
That's the
out.
same when you do it with a lady.
That's a great expression.
There's also a super helpful how to use a sex doll guide on the website that we just went through, and you found it very, very handy yourself.
Yeah.
That's very much a must read if you're about to shell out $2,000 for a toy. And then here we come to 2 very troubling, if brief, paragraphs.
Okay.
Also, a big thing I didn't talk about in the comic is that it's nearly impossible to recycle a TPE sex doll. There are some places that'll take TPE, but it's difficult and hard to find. And the idea of chopping her up for the recycle plant is just gruesome. But because of that and the high prices, there is a thriving second-hand market out there.
Good.
Which brings me to my next announcement.
Oh no, he's going to sell
If you're
Alabama.
in the Portland area and are interested in buying our once used Alabama for like $500, drop me an email. They got it for free, don't forget.
That's crazy. These people...
And then you say, sex dolls forever, not just for Christmas. I would love for her to find a good local forever home.
A forever home, that's a term that comes from the pet adoption world. So that's really good that they've brought...
Similar communities.
Yeah, and considering that they've just been, in the same article, first of all, talking about how lifelike it is. Second of all, talking about...
how you take out the vagina to wash it.
Yeah, and then third, complaining about the misogynistic copy on Silicon Wives. The fact that they're breathing some kind of pet language into this not woman, not doll hybrid.
And
really
just,
good.
Just to end on, there's a little asterisk next to once used, and it just clarifies used with an internal condom.
Oh,
she never came into contact with any bodily fluids.
Oh,
if
God.
that's what you were worried about.
Yeah, no, I was.
Exactly.
That really takes the edge off for me. I didn't like this episode. I didn't like learning anything.
You loved it.
I didn't like to learn about that world. I think maybe you should do the end of it, because I'm just going to sit here
and just mull.
Reflect.
We are not ones on That's a Shame to kink shame. That's one of the shames.
We're not called That's a Kink Shame.
No.
That's a different podcast that we stopped very
that we will be
quickly.
doing if the Patreon takes off. We're not here to judge people for what they needs must. However, sometimes communities, not through any fault of their own, do stumble into some really troubling language and some troubling perspectives. And then sometimes they do that through some very stark and blatant faults of their own. And that really is where we come in. That's where we seek to look, where we seek to peruse, where we seek to explore and sail the ocean.
Keep elevating it.
Yeah, exactly. This isn't just some cheap cum jokes and a bit of light misogyny to fill an hour or so. No, this is a real. This is like Louis Theroux.
It's better.
Yeah,
because it's now. And Louis, too afraid to look at Alabama.
To look at the sex dolls of Alabama and Silicon Wives. I wish these people all the luck in the world in finding some kind of happiness and sexual satisfaction.
Fuck all the dolls you want.
But please, don't call them ladies.
Please, no.
Please don't fuck them if they've got wires sticking out of them.
That's a health and safety one.
Please, if you find mold growth in the cavity,
don't be breathing
speak to your doctor.
It's actually already too late.
And also just maybe lean away from the existentialism angle and really just enjoy it for what it is and for what you purchased it for, which is a $2,000 cum dump.
No need to put a finer point on it than that, most have said.
Isaac, do you want to do some plugs?
I'm good, actually. The unsubscribe button is one that we've all toyed with in the past. And if this was an episode too far for you, then I totally understand. Just drop me a line, isaac@shame.city, and we'll commiserate by email about that. There are no ways of getting in touch with the show. Really
but if
weird.
people wanted to fund the Shame City sex doll that we're looking
which
to
will
purchase,
be made in a hybrid likeness of the two of us.
conjoined at the hip,
Oh God! Oh,
fully
God.
malleable,
Oh no! That's the worst thing I ever
neck
had
hooks
an image of.
and all.
Oh dear. Well, that's enough episode now.
Patreon.com/Shame
No,
City.
Don't worry. See
We're giving it
you
all back
very soon. Bye.
Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, oh Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder of my big home. The bees are buzzing in the tree to make some honey just for me. The bare necessities of life will come to you. For the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, oh Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder, my new home. The bees are buzzing in the tree to make some honey just for me. The bare necessities of life will come to you. Come to